Welcome back to the channel. I'm really excited to be reviewing this super innovative kick drum trigger from Diamond Electronic Drums in the UK. It's just arrived at my studio, so let's see what we get in the box. I've personally not been super happy with crossbar style kick triggers. You're hitting a static object with force with your kick drum beater. That is the leading cause of piezo flex, which causes false triggering. What Dave from Diamond Drums, however, has created is a premium free-floating trigger that has real flex, imitating the experience of playing real mylar. In the box we have a 1/4 inch to mini jack adapter and a 3-ply mesh head with the trigger pre-installed. And yes, the trigger is intentionally offset to accommodate my double pedal position, and apropos, Diamond Drums make all these triggers custom, so you just simply tell them the dimensions of your offset when you order. Apparently head sizes are 16 inch to 24 inches, although this one is 20 inches. You can choose your own head at additional cost, or you can simply buy the trigger assembly separately and install it into your own mesh head for less cost. The trigger assembly is made with 4 PETG 3D printed parts, and there are 6 M4 bolts holding it all in place, with the holes burnt through the mesh to avoid tearing. The trigger implementation is 2 equally based piezos, one above the other. More on that in a moment. The kick pad itself is made with 4mm thick rubber, and it has a large baffle plate at the back that has a rubber trim around it to reduce vibration. One key feature that you won't find on any other trigger is that there are redundant piezos, as I said before. 2 of them. They connect separately at the back, so if one fails, you can just plug in a cord to the backup piezo and you can keep playing. I think that's a great innovation for live use. For such a special trigger, I thought it warranted a new A2E build, so I'm very happy to have picked up this original Pearl Rhythm Traveler kit, circa 2003-2004, in remarkably good condition. For those unfamiliar, the Rhythm Traveler is quite sought after for A2E conversions for its compact sizes. Personally, I love this 20x8 kick, and I like 20-inch kick drums in general. I sort of feel like it's the right balance of portability and stage presence without having to use a kick riser. One of my goals with the Rhythm Traveler is to have a more compact version of my larger A2E set that you've seen on this channel for gigging, and so that I can just swap in and out components as I like. So I'll need everything to match, so I'll be using the same drum wrap as for my full-size kit. I intend to do a full conversion of this kit, so let me know in the comments if that's something you want to see a full video on. I'm going to be rewrapping this shell with the same turquoise sparkle wrap that I've used in my other builds. If you're a subscriber to this channel, no doubt you've seen some of those. Speaking of which, now is an excellent time to like this video, subscribe, and of course click the bell for alerts if you want to know more about E-drums and the very best triggers, just like the one we're reviewing today. And just a reminder on that, whilst Dave from Diamond Electronic Drums sent me this trigger for review and I can keep it, as always on this channel, my views are my own. The reason I'm going with the same wrap is so that I can swap kit pieces in and out as I need to and still have them match. For anyone that's played on small stages or been tucked in a tight corner at a wedding gig or something like that, having a nice shallow kick drum available is quite advantageous. In a somewhat quirky addition, I'm adding a mounting bracket to the side of the shell, down quite low. The hope is I can mount a ride cymbal stand or similar if I need an ultra compact setup. Time to install the trigger system. Starting with the mini jack to 1/4 inch TRS socket. As I mentioned earlier, this trigger comes with 2 separate piezos, so I'm going to wire them both in right now, so in case one fails, I can simply plug my kick input into the other barrel jack. Keep in mind that this trigger will only ship with 1 mini jack cable, but I happen to have a spare one from a different project, so I thought, hey, it'd be cool if both were ready to go, just in case. I've decided to use some spare poplar hoops instead of the Pearl Rhythm Traveler hoops, just to give it a cooler kind of vibe. I'm a big fan of the finish on the Tama Club Jam and Yamaha Stage Custom Hip kits, which have wooden hoops. This definitely gets us part of the way there, but I'll probably end up upgrading the hoops to something better quality down the track. Now that the head's installed, we can use the supplied clip to do some cable management. This isn't super needed, by the way, but I wanted to put something, well, this on the bottom of the shell, and I don't want the cables to get pulled on by anything. Originally I was going to put a pillow in here, but couldn't find anything quite thin enough, so I've cut some acoustic treatment foam for now and fitted it with double-sided tape. I don't believe it's necessary to have a pillow or a foam or anything like that in the shell, but personally I do like my batter head to have a touch of muffling, just for the sake of improved beta feedback. And the cool thing about this trigger solution is that unlike basically every other drum trigger I've tried, you can add or remove a pillow or blanket or whatever to suit your playing style, or even just to reduce some of the ambient noise from your kick drum shell, for example. And hey presto, we've finished the conversion process. On the trigger side of things, I've got to say that it was incredibly straightforward. Just plug and play, really. No calibrating cones or messing around with crossbars that won't stay in place properly. So let's remove my big kick drum, replace it with the new 20x8 Pearl Rhythm Traveler with the Diamond Drums trigger in it, and plug it in. Now please stay tuned for my testing and playing examples with a variety of modules, including my Roland V31, which with its trigger engine being the same as the V51 and flagship V71, it's going to give you the same results. I'll also test it with my Pearl Mimic Pro, Efnote and 2-box modules. And I'll give you my full review of this Diamond Drums kick trigger at the end of this video. Okay, it's review time. Look, I'm not going to bury the lead here. This trigger is an utter joy to play on. It really feels like you're moving air as if you would an acoustic mylar drumhead, because essentially you are. It was super simple to install, no calibrating cone heights or messing around with crossbars that won't stay in place properly, and none of that slightly jarred feeling from my leg from playing into a solid pad. This thing really moved naturally. And speaking of which, there is a bit of a trade-off with that natural movement. You might have noticed when the video is on close-up of me playing the trigger, there's quite a bit of wobble to the head. It's not severe by any stretch and certainly doesn't impact the triggering or even the playing experience, but it's noticeable. By putting a proper pillow inside the batter head, it's going to probably fix that, or you could even just slacken off the head tension a bit. In the end, it'll come down to your personal taste and playing style. And as you can see in my playing examples, it worked seamlessly with a variety of different modules. Comes with a backup piezo built in, so what's not to love? I really rate the Diamond Electronic Drums kick trigger very highly. It's enormous fun to play on. And frankly, that's kind of the whole point, right? If you like this video and you want to know more about E-Drums, the very best triggers on the market and all things A2E, please subscribe and hit the bell button for more.